What's up, folks? Bernie Smith, Brand New Again Refinishing, coming to you today because I want to lay out the kitchen cabinet refinishing process for you folks. Oftentimes, when you think about doing something in your house, you are concerned about the length of time that a contractor is in your house. Is my house going to be a complete mess? What am I expecting? I'm coming to you today and I'm going to let you know all the ins and outs and what you can expect from Brand New Again, from start to finish. I'll show you process pictures, I'll explain to you how the process goes, and I can let you know how little I'll be in your home and how little you'll have to see me with your kitchen still turning out fantastic. Now, when some people think about home renovations and projects like this, when you're dealing with kitchens and bathrooms, some people tend to think that, man, it is gonna just be a huge mess, it's gonna be a nightmare, I'm not gonna be able to use my kitchen, I'm not gonna be able to cook, I'm not gonna be able to do dishes, I'm not gonna be able to get in my refrigerator. I'm here to let you know that I have planned for all of that, and I promise that you'll be cooking dinner in no time. You're welcome. So the first day on the job, what you can expect, we usually show up about 9 o'clock in the morning. One of my assistants and myself will show up, and the first thing that we do is we go into labeling all of your doors and drawers, because all of those have to be removed and all those will be refinished back at my shop. I'll explain more about that later. So what we'll do is we'll label and remove all your doors and drawers, and we'll go straight into the prepping, which is a lot of tape and it's a lot of plastic. And the reason for that is because I'm here to refinish your kitchen cabinets, not your counter, not your backsplash, not your floor, and not your ceiling. So we mask off everything. It's taped, it's plastic, it's papered, all the rooms are sectioned off, and I'll show you now what a couple pictures look like in this process. So now that we have the rest of your house protected, we want to go straight into the work on the cabinets. And the work on the cabinets begins with cleaning your cabinets. It doesn't matter how clean you think your cabinets are, or if you've already cleaned them, we clean them anyway. So what we do is we use a grease cutter to cut the grease off your cabinets, because everybody knows that above the vent hood, around the stove, around the microwave, there tends to be a grease buildup. No matter how often you clean, it's there in every house that we've done. So we use grease cutting formulas in order to cut that grease off of your cabinets, clean those properly, let those dry, and then we go straight into the sanding. We've got to scuff sand your entire cabinets. The fronts, the backs, the sides, everything that's getting primed and painted, we've got to be sanded. We've got to degloss them. We've got to get the shine off of them so that our primer sticks to them. So we sand everything that's going to be painted, everything that's going to be primed, we sand it all. As soon as we're done with the sanding, we go straight into the wiping it down again. It's got to be cleaned again. We've got to get all that dust off of the cabinets. We've got to get it wiped off of the plastic, because when we shoot primer, we don't want that dust involved. So once we have everything wiped clean, then we go straight into the priming. The priming probably only takes about 15 or 20 minutes. You do about 6 to 8 hours of prep work with the tape and the plastic, the sanding and the cleaning for about 15-20 minutes of priming. That's right. A painter, a refinisher will tell you 99% of the work is involved in the prep. And the reason is because prep work is for the win, constantly. If you're a refinisher or your painter is not prepping well, you're not gonna have a good paint job. We take a lot of pride in our prep work. We make sure that everything is taped thoroughly, everything from the floor right up against the kick plate to if you have crown molding on your cabinets in that little swirly pattern, right up against your wall, we've got to carve out all those little pieces of tape so that we don't get paint on your wall and that it stays on your cabinets. So see, not that bad. If you can handle a little bit of tape and a little bit of plastic, you'll be fine. On top of the tape and plastic, we also install a ventilation fan, 35-foot hose, to basically suck any of those bad fumes out of the room where we're working and eject them straight out of your house so that they do not go through the rest of your home. So on top of the ventilation fan, you might have noticed in that picture, that big plastic wall with those vertical rods, that's our zip wall. We put up a giant sheet of plastic strung from the ceiling to the floor. If you have an open concept home or a large area that your kitchen opens up into the rest of your house, we want to section all that off. Sometimes there's not just a small doorway that we can put plastic off. So we come equipped with our zip wall and install that if you have an open concept home in order to keep those fumes, the dust, and all that stuff away from the rest of your house so you can be living and functioning in the rest of your home while we're working on your kitchen. That's it for day one. That's probably the most grueling part of the in-home work. If you've been able to withstand myself and my assistant for that long, you're going to be 100% fine for the rest of the process. On day two, we come back about 9 a.m. and we go straight into the painting. Before we actually hit it with the paint, we've got to sand it again. We kick on the ventilation fan, we sand everything that we primed. After we've got everything sanded, we've got to go back through and we've got to wipe it all down again. That's right, we hit the primer with the sander. The primer does not come off. It basically smooths it down, it takes the shine off the primer. This primer is so good that it is very, very difficult to sand through to get back down to the natural wood or the substrate that we covered with primer. So we sand it. As soon as we get done sanding everything that we primed, we wipe it all down. We've got to wipe the dust off the cabinets, we've got to wipe the dust off the plastic. Once it's clean, then we go into the painting, just like we did on the priming. Get the gun set up, we shoot everything with paint that we just primed, we inspect it for runs, make sure that it's good. As soon as we're satisfied that it's good, the plastic comes right back down, that quick. There you have it. The plastic's down, the primer's been put on, the paint's been put on, the plastic is out of your way. You're done seeing me for a couple days now, okay? I'm sorry if you've gotten used to me being there. I cannot hang out with you anymore because I have to go back to my shop and I have to work on your doors and your drawers. So, I check out with you, I let you know. Install day will be 1 week from the first day that I came in. 1 week from the day that we came in to prep and prime, I will be back to install your drawers and drawers. So, over the next 4 or 5 days, that's when I'm doing the same process to your doors and your drawers that I just got done doing to your kitchen cabinets, except it doesn't get done in your home, it gets done in my shop. So the mess in your house is virtually done at this point. So if you withstood the first less than 24 hours, the tape and plastic and the dust and the mess, then you're gonna be good to go. So like I said, now I'm in my shop, priming your doors after I clean them and sand them, and I'll show you what those look like right now. Just like with the kitchen cabinets, I allow that primer to dry overnight. The very next day, my second day of in-home work, is paint day. I've got to sand your doors and your drawers back down, scuff sand the primer, make them nice and smooth, clean them all off, and then I go straight into painting. And I'll show you what that paint looks like on these doors right now. So if you're keeping track of your days, I'm technically done with the priming and the painting and everything on your doors and drawers 2 or 3 days in advance of install day. And the reason for that is because we want to give that primer and the paint, we want to give it as much time as possible to set up before we actually install your doors and drawers back into your kitchen. Here we are, final day. It's install day. 1 week from the first day that we came in, we're back to put it all together. This process usually takes about 3 or 4 hours. Make sure we got everything hung right, make sure everything's adjusted right, make sure your doors are all level, make sure everything's lined up, make sure your hardware is all tight, all facing the same direction. We do final checks. This is when we do our final inspection. We walk around the kitchen, we make sure there's no runs, no drips, no light spots, and we address any touch-ups that we have on install day. So, I'll show you some finished pictures of what that kitchen looks like right now. I hope you guys enjoyed this process, and book yours now.